In this module, Architecting Effective Playlists and Learning Plans, we're focusing our learning on one of the three elements of effective virtual learning: playlists and learning plans. There are three elements of effective virtual learning: the playlist, the instructional design component often used in asynchronous learning; the online classroom space, where the playlist is built and housed; and synchronous instruction and engagement, where live face-to-face teaching happens within a virtual environment using today's technology tools like Google Meets, Zoom, and many others. There are three playlist templates we've made available for your use and customization: a beginning playlist, an intermediate playlist, and an advanced playlist. In this professional learning tile, we're going to go through how to create and use a beginning playlist. Let's start with defining what a playlist is. A playlist is a sequenced set of resources, tasks, and activities for students to work through independently or asynchronously. A playlist is focused on specific content and aligned to a learning target. And playlists can be created in Google Docs or be built directly within your LMS. We're going to dive into an example of a beginning playlist. This particular playlist is for a middle school math class, but the beginning playlist can be used in any grade level or for any content area. You'll notice at the top we have a section for the teacher name and the week that the students will be engaging with this particular playlist. And then the next section we have is weekly assignments and announcements. In this section, you can put any assignment or announcement that you like. You might decide to include birthday announcements or holiday announcements. You might put links out to your weekly video message. If you have some important school news, you could include that here. If you have adaptive software requirements for students, you might put those here, as well as any other weekly goals that you have. Some people choose to put their synchronous learning times in the weekly assignments and announcements section, but you can also put those times within the daily portion of the playlist as well. Moving further down into the playlist, you're going to notice several things. The beginning playlist is organized by day of the week. So all students are going to be doing the same activities on the same day. So this playlist provides minimal amount of differentiation. Some people do choose at the bottom to make Friday a catch-up day in order to provide a little bit of differentiation in the pacing through the document. If I'm a student who hasn't finished all of my work at the beginning of Friday, I have that day to finish everything up. If I'm a student who has completed everything by Friday, a teacher might choose to include some enrichment activities here on Friday to help with a little bit of differentiation as well. We're going to scroll back up to the top of the document, and I'm going to take a look at a few specific days within this playlist. So if I'm a student in this particular class on Monday, I know that I have two expectations. The first one is to complete this geometry angle project, and the second one is this ratio design challenge. You will notice that the ratio design challenge is a digital resource and it is hyperlinked. It is very important when you're designing your playlist that any digital resources you want students to have access to, you create hyperlinks for them that take them directly to that resource. That makes the utilization of the playlist for parents and teachers, or parents and students, much easier. So if I'm a student in this class on Monday, I'm going to click on this hyperlink when I'm ready to do this ratio design challenge. I know by the note that my teacher put in the playlist that I need to do all three of these. So I click on that link and it's going to take me out to this pre-created content from Scholastic. Another important thing to remember about a playlist is that you're going to have a balance of pre-created content, whether those are resources that you find on the internet or those are district resources, and then you'll also supplement the playlist with content that you create yourself. So for this particular challenge, it's already created for me. I know that I'm going to scroll down, and the expectation as outlined in the playlist is that I complete all three of these design projects. Moving on to Tuesday, my first step for my work on Tuesday is to complete that challenge that I started yesterday. So again, we have a hyperlink out to that digital resource. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take this rates and ratios quiz. So this is a quiz that was created by this teacher in Google Forms as a formative assessment. So on Monday and Tuesday, students were working through that digital activity, and the teacher wants to see how they're doing with their learning around ratios and rates. So as a student, I would complete this. Google Forms is great about collecting and easily analyzing data. So as a teacher, I can take the data that I get from this online quiz, and then that will help me to plan some of my synchronous learning that's upcoming. You'll also notice on Tuesday that office hours are available. So as a student in this class, if I'm struggling with these design challenges, I know that I want to make myself available between 11 and 12 to get on that Zoom meeting with my teacher and get the help and support that I need. As we move further down the week, you'll notice that we have new digital resources for Wednesday. And again, they are hyperlinked. And then we have a Google Classroom discussion that we're going to be engaging in. So that would be a synchronous portion of some learning for me on Wednesday. Moving into Thursday, I have 2 specific assignments. And again, I have that reminder that if I need help or support, office hours are available from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Zoom. And as we talked about earlier, this particular teacher decided to use Friday as a day for students to catch up on their work. If students in this particular class are done, they can also work on ALEKS and IXL, or catch up with work for their other classes. As I mentioned earlier, you could include some enrichment activities for Friday as well for those students who might have completed the playlist already. As you advance through this module, you'll notice how each playlist builds upon the previous playlist. Moving from the beginning playlist to the intermediate playlist, you will see an increase in the amount of student ownership. And moving from the intermediate playlist to the advanced playlist, you will see elements of competency-based learning and a playlist that is more adaptive to the needs of students. This concludes the learning for this tile.